If you are a developing medium and have yet to learn how to handle a no from a sitter, a person receiving a mediumship reading, then this video is for you. How do you handle the dreaded no during a mediumship reading? Do you pretend you didn't hear the no? Does it throw you out of the link or connection with the spirit communicator? We are diving deep into 3 techniques to specifically address those moments when a medium encounters a no during a reading. The first technique in practice is to stay calm. When you get a no, or any offshoot of a no like, "That doesn't make sense," the best practice is not to stress out or become reactive. Anxiety or stress will put you out of the receptive state for spirit. This receptive state for mediumship is the alpha brainwave state, which is a state of relaxed alertness. This relaxed alertness is what is needed for effective spirit communication. Stress is typically associated with increased beta wave activity and decreased alpha wave activity. Beta is characteristic of being out of connection with the spirit communicator. Alpha waves are linked to calmness and are indicative of being in connection with spirit. Additionally, stress and anxiety can make people more reactive. Extensive research reveals how stress influences emotional reactivity. Reactivity to the sitter can potentially cause harm to an already grieving individual. As mediums, our goal is to assist with healing, not to do more harm. Let's review some examples of reactive statements that a medium could make when faced with a no. Defensiveness. For example, the medium may say, "I am just giving what I am getting." Blame shifting. For instance, the medium may state to the client, "The energy is off and it is affecting the communication." Or, an even more egregious scenario, the medium says, "The spirit doesn't want to communicate right now." Pressuring the sitter. For example, the medium tells the sitter to think harder, or just write it down. "It will make sense to you later." Premonition justification. For instance, the medium will say, "It may not make sense right now, but it will soon." Invalidating the sitter's response. For example, the medium will postulate, "I know this is right." Or they may say, "Maybe you need to be more open." Emotional manipulation. For instance, the medium may remark, "Your loved one is trying hard to communicate. Don't dismiss their efforts." Some of these examples may sound familiar and even may be hitting a little close to home. The key is for the medium to maintain a positive, lighthearted, and inspiring attitude. This is not just a coping mechanism, but a powerful tool that can transform a no into an opportunity for growth. Learning to navigate these moments gracefully is not just crucial for development, but it's also a testament to resilience and skill as a developing medium. So take a deep breath and stay calm. A no is not a rejection of a medium's ability. A no to evidence is just a lack of recognition of how the evidence was presented. Which brings us to the second technique for managing a no: rephrasing and rewording evidence. A medium's continuous effort to improve and adapt their communication style is a skill that gets better with practice. A no to expressed evidence isn't necessarily wrong, as long as the medium is in the receptive state and has their intention and attention on the spirit communicator. What they are getting is correct. After that, it is just a matter of wording the evidence that resonates with the sitter. Information received from spirit is through the medium's subconscious mind. Thus, evidence from the spirit communicator often comes in subtle and fragmented forms. Conveying these perceptions by using language can be awkward and clumsy. Wording evidence is a skill all on its own. This process can lead to misinterpretations if the medium's language does not accurately reflect the spirit's intended message. For instance, a spirit might show an image of a rose, which the medium might interpret as a symbol of love. However, the sitter might associate it with a specific memory. Such misinterpretations can lead to a no response from the sitter. In this example, it is essential not to ask the sitter questions like, "Do you understand a rose?" This seemingly harmless question is considered fishing. Fishing refers to a technique used by some mediums to gather information from their sitters. It involves asking leading questions to elicit responses from the sitter, which then the medium uses to refine their statements and appear more accurate. When the sitter says no to evidence, it is important to state exactly what you are perceiving without allowing your mind to make a story from the information given. The mind wants to make sense of things because that is what the mind is designed to do. However, to be more precise with evidence, it is essential to relay the information simply and not let the mind try to make sense of things. For example, a medium receives the impression of a book and states, "He loved to read." This seems logical and feasible. Possibly, even in other readings, a book meant the spirit communicator loved to read. However, this time the sitter says no to this evidence. The fix to this is simply stating, "They are showing me a book." At that moment, the sitter may say yes to the book. They also may still say no. Being flexible in the moment is important to keeping communication going. However, many mediums will perceive saying, "I see a book," as too generic of a statement. This is okay because a skilled medium isn't going to leave it at, I see a book. This brings us to the third technique, which is going to the spirit communicator to get clarity. What is meant by going back to the spirit communicator? This is the concept of putting your intention and attention back on the spirit communicator to receive more impressions. Instead of focusing on the sitter, waiting for a response, hoping and praying they understand. When the medium shifts their awareness to the spirit communicator and stays in that receptive state, this allows spirit provide further impressions to clarify the evidence so it can make sense to the sitter. The medium is following the breadcrumbs that the spirit communicator lays down. Let's further illustrate this by further using the previous book evidence as an example. If the client says no to the evidence of they are showing me a book, the next step would be to go back to the spirit communicator. At that moment, the intention and the request is for them to give you more information. The medium then becomes aware of food. The next statement could be, I know food is connected with the book. At the outset, this may seem like a ridiculous statement, but again, trying to make sense of the evidence will allow the mind to take over. Sometimes the mind will be right, sometimes it won't, and will throw the evidence into the no zone. With the evidence of food added to book, the sitter remembered a cookbook her grandmother used. The sitter currently has this treasured item and proceeds to say yes to the evidence. The medium may then feel a sense of relief. However, the medium's job is still not done. A skilled medium is not merely giving evidence, but telling a story with the spirit communicator. To further validate the information, the medium still allows for the spirit communicator to provide further impressions. The medium now becomes aware of the word cookbook. They tell the sitter, I know this is a cookbook. The sitter excitedly says, yes. Then the medium perceives the sitter holding the cookbook and says, I know you still have this cookbook. And this is also confirmed by the sitter. The medium can continue to build the evidence through the Clairs. For example, clairsentience. I feel your grandmother loved this cookbook. The medium may hear through the clairaudience snickerdoodle. Then tell the sitter, I hear the word snickerdoodle, and the sitter validates that was her grandmother's favorite cookie recipe in the cookbook. Get the picture? Also, think about this for a moment. If the medium had asked the sitter, what is the book, or stopped delivering evidence, the meaning and validation to the sitter would have been diminished or lost. Language is a powerful tool in mediumship readings, and its effective use is essential for precise and accurate communication. By being mindful of interpretation, using plain language, encouraging feedback, and rephrasing evidence when necessary, mediums have the opportunity to enhance the clarity of their readings and provide meaningful connections for their sitters. Remember, the goal is to convey the spirit's messages as accurately and clearly as possible, fostering understanding, connection, or healing for the sitter. Let's review the 3 techniques outlined in this video on how to handle a no during a mediumship reading. Technique 1. Stay calm. Avoid being reactive. Maintain and stay in connection with the spirit communicator. Technique 2. Rephrase or reword evidence. Effectively communicating the subtle impressions from the subconscious mind is a skill and takes practice. Technique 3. Go back to the spirit communicator for greater clarity and evidence. Be sure to allow evidence to be supported by the impressions of all the Clairs. If you have watched all the way through, I hope you have found this information helpful. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified about the latest content. Until next time, happy practicing and developing your mediumship skills.